Hi, this is Gene again. Another important aspect of launching an online business is really to understand all the pieces and all the things that you need to develop. So what I'm going to share with you today is my 1-year launch journey milestones. So you can see how all of the things that we talk about fit together. So we start with our P1 value finder and our superpower finder. And of course, this is really being empathetic to your avatars or your broader audience, the community that you are trying to serve, and having self-awareness of what you bring to the table in serving your community or your avatars. And this is where we want to take that, and we have the 4 quadrants, and we really want to focus on fundamentals. And we talked about this in the last video, where we want to see where is the attention of our avatars and what is their current reality. And from that, we really want to start to extract, okay, what are the consequences, implications, and ramifications that they are experiencing if they're trying to solve a problem. And sometimes reality B isn't about fear and solving problems. It could be, how do you create happiness or awesomeness or euphoria? So this could all be reality B. It's kind of an and or, and you kind of have to figure out based on your niche, what is more important for your audience. And then from that, really simplify, okay? In the last video, we talked about what is the one fundamental question, and of course, what is your simple solution to that one question. And all of this is what I would call kind of milestone 1. This is, if you're talking with somebody else, you're brainstorming or workshopping, but if you're doing it by yourself, this is where you really want to try to extract this information. Instead of starting with, I want to teach my audience this, you really need to go through the process of extracting this information to really find out what your optimal value proposition actually is. The next milestone is really taking this information and starting to write your hook or your sales copy, okay? And we're gonna get into a little bit more details about that. Whatever your copy or your hook is, it has to be wrapped in a story, which is part of your self-awareness superpower extractor chart, where you have to wrap everything in a story. So it's really hook, story, and lesson. So what are the lessons and takeaways that people actually get when they consume what you have to offer, what you want to teach, or what you want to coach? And then of course there has to be a call to action with everything that you do. So it's really about hook, story, lesson. And this is where the creative aspect of your launch journey begins. The first milestone is really to extract, and then the second milestone is really when you start trying to get creative, writing good sales copy, understanding how it relates to the stories you want to tell and the lessons that you want to give to your audience, and of course, what is the call to action that you eventually want to use. The next milestone is, based on all of this, this is where you actually start to have your optimal value proposition. You have your title, you have your byline, you have your description of your first product, and then you can start creating your lead magnet or your free product. We call it P1, but this is where you start to develop these things. And you can see by the size of these milestones, the middle milestone probably should take the least amount of time, and the extraction part will take more time, but relatively speaking, the development period where you're actually creating your product, your free product, that takes a substantial amount of time too. So you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but the next phase or the next milestone is when you start to actually develop your value proposition and you're creating your free product or your lead magnet. And then finally, this is where you have everything created, you got your landing page, you have your open cart, you have whatever you're going to do. This is when you start to publish, you market it, and of course continue to engage with your audience. And this final milestone is really the market milestone. Okay, this is using Kajabi, using ScreenFlow, you're publishing, you're marketing, and then you're engaging. And then of course, from the first lesson or the first video, you can see that engage actually is a circular loop. So engage will always go back into milestone 2, where you're creating another sales copy, you're writing another story, or you're relating another story to another lesson that you want to give, and then there's another call to action. And that will be your low-cost product. And during this whole process, you need to create a video for talking about your hook, story, lesson, and call to action. The information that you extract from milestone 1, you want to try to create a short video to kind of put it all together. Start thinking about it in a more succinct way so you can talk about it comfortably. And then of course, for your optimal value proposition for your lead magnet, you also have to create a video. And this is where you would put in the things that you have to do. You take all the information that you've extracted and all the things that are building and helping you better understand how you want to present it to your audience, and you start writing a script. And then when you write that script, that's when you shoot a video. So this is again very preliminary. We'll get into more details about each one of these milestones as we move forward, but this is the overall launch journey and the milestones. So in my case, I'm here. So this is where the title, the byline, and the description, and then from this you start writing your video script. So in case, and again, these are going to be adjusted, but kind of what I started off with is, for the title, it's "Don't Get Swept Away by a Rising China and Ride the Winning Wave with 2 Mindset Adjustments." So I'm really simplified this. You can see this from the last video. It's just basically 2 mindset adjustments, and I captured it in the title. And then the byline is, "Winning amidst the global uncertainty of China's rise isn't a secret for those who can learn to think differently." Okay, so since I'm focusing on mindset adjustments, I want to convey that everything is possible if you're able to learn how to think differently. And of course, I am the one who is an expert that can help you think differently. Now getting into the description. So winning consistently in China or with Chinese people is easy with 2 simple tweaks. Learn how to, number 1, adapt your strategy, and number 2, communicate it more effectively across cultures. Knowing how to speak Chinese doesn't mean you know what to say in Chinese, but knowing what to say is a win in any language. After the tables are turned, all of your anxiety and frustration will be replaced with truly rewarding gratification. So I really tried to touch on the fears, the inspirations, the aspirations, and the challenges in my P1 value proposition extractor, or my that first exercise, even before I got into my superpower extractor, and I try to capture that in the description. So from all of this, I'm going to start writing a video script for the video that I want to shoot, and that will be kind of the next step. All right, so this is just a short video just to keep everybody up to date with how everything works.